Tono for the watch, Prezi plain Jane, Yamagini chain, rest in peace to my superior, Hermes Linker.
Hello guys, welcome back. It's your boy Milliman, back with another video on the 7.27 Dota 2 update. This one's an interesting one, guys. We've all been waiting it for a while, and I'm curious to see for the hero changes that are to follow. But right now, the important things to know are, if you guys have been enjoying the videos, please let me know. But without further ado, let's get into this update, shall we? So firstly, they've changed tier 1 towers and tier 2 towers, 3 towers and 4 towers to have different bounties, like different gold bounties, which are quite interesting. The bounty runes are now reliable gold, passive income has been increased, assist gold has been rescaled, and hero kills and hero base XP rewards have also been changed for the better. So that means killing heroes are more worth it now. Dying, not worth it anymore. So you can't just say, it's fine. So dying as a hero and ganking is a lot better this patch. Neutral stacking support bounties have been increased from 35% to 40%, which is huge. Keeping in mind, guys, I do not want to make this a long video. I'll be going through the things that I think are most important. Mid lane creep change have gone from medium to small, which means it's a lot easier to farm the mid lane heroes. Small camp on the side of your mid lane, so will ramp up mid laners farm quite significantly. And they've removed the prowler camp. The rest of these updates right here are just tree positioning and camp positionings, and that's a bit minor. Outposts are huge. They've basically changed outposts to not allow you to take the enemy team's tower outpost until you've taken a tier 2 tower, which will basically increase the meta for pushing. People want to push into your tier 2 towers, and that will give you opportunity to, if you are on the losing streak, coordinate a big fat gank to take back the net with advantage. So that is a very interesting change that they've made, and I'm curious to see how people react on the tier 2 tower affecting the outposts. The lane aggro has also been changed, that until 5 minutes you cannot creep skip / creep pull anymore, which is a significant change to offlaners who have a really bad matchup and want to go creep skip. So creep skipping is now more viable, and I'm curious to see what the offlaners come up with to deal with a very bad lane or very bad matchup. Couriers have been changed, but nothing serious. Just a level 4 you can now fly, and the 15% reduced speed while carrying consumables is quite a big nerf, especially during the laning phase when you want to ferry out as much regen and mana regen as possible. So slight nerf, but not the worst. Armor has a new formula. Armor is a little bit better this patch, and agility increases armor slightly more. So armor carries are seeing a bit of a buff. Tier 1 and tier 2 towers have increased attack speed, but there's still the same amount of damage as their base damage has been reduced. So still the same, they just attack a lot quicker. So as well as the siege units, your catapults have a 60% extra health, which is quite interesting right now. So pushing is still in the meta as of right now. They've also changed the all pick picking, so you pick 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and then 1 hero. So Dire picks 2 heroes, Radiant picks 2 heroes, Radiant picks 2 heroes, Dire picks 2 heroes, and then 1 hero. So that's pretty interesting. A better way of picking, I think. Makes counter picking a lot harder. Another thing is that they have now changed lifesteal amp, HP amp, heal amp, and spell lifesteal amp to be diminishingly instead of additively. And what that means is, instead of that being plus together, it's a percentage reduced. So it is a nerf, guys. That is a pretty big nerf. So you can't just stack endless amounts of lifesteal and endless amounts of regen amp. So slight nerf to that, but let's carry on. Necrobook has seen a major nerf to bowling damage and creep damage, but a pretty big buff to heroes. Is it still good? I don't think it's still a good item. It's an okay item, but the fact that it loses its archer aura, which is pretty big, and the mana regen has been reduced until Necro 4 and Necro 3, so might not be worth it, but still not a horrible item. But I don't think it was as good as it used to be. Helm of Dom has lost a few of its auras, but instead of that, it now gives a creep pretty big buff, base damage, HP regen, mana regen, and it also passively gives 6 armor, HP regen, and stats. So Helm of Dominator has seen a slight nerf, but at the same time quite a big buff towards the carrier, and the creep it gets dominated. So I do think Helm of Dominator is good. It's still good this patch. Vladimir's Offering has no more armor aura and no more stats, but in place of that, it now gives an 18% damage aura, and it's increased as mana regen with a cost of 5% loss of life aura. So Vlad is still a good item, still a good support item for those supports or pos 4s that can farm it up, even pos 5s even. So still a good item, and the fact that they have added a damage aura to Vlad is even better. Drum of Endurance, slight nerf, but at the same time they have increased attack speed, move speed, and the attributes and overall stats of the Drum of Endurance. So we might see a resurgence of Drum of Endurance in this patch, and it might be about a time for that. Smaller changes as Buckler has been armor reduced. Mechanism and Guardian is their self attribution have been nerfed. I'm not sure even if that's a word, guys. We'll just move with it. But what that means is, the person carrying it gets slightly less attributes and buffs as the aura provides. Mechanism Guardian provides more armor and stats now than for your team than it does for you as the carrier. So still a good item. It gives more armor. It gives an armor aura, and it doesn't give stats anymore. But Mechanism and the Guardian Greaves, because they're built into each other, they now both provide a 3 armor aura. So armor aura is pretty good. Crimson Guard has seen a nerf. Blade Mail has a new passive, which I really like, which is a base 20 damage that gets returned, and I figured that's a 20 pure damage, and then 20% of the attack damage. So if they do 100 attack damage, 20 damage plus 20 damage will be returned back to them, right? So pretty nice. And they've reduced the active return to 80%, which makes up for the passive that they've now implemented. Blade Mail also doesn't give int anymore, so maybe not the biggest item on like mid quap anymore and things like that, but still a good item I think for offlaners. They've added a new item called Blitz Knuckles, which is 1000 gold and it gives you 35 attack speed, and this builds into a few more items, and I like the rework, and I'm curious to see how Blitz Knuckles gets used in lane even, or maybe in jungle, or as a casual pickup. Monkey King Bar now uses Blitz Knuckles, and the damage is reduced but attack speed increased for Monkey King Bar. So I do think MKB is a bit of a better item now due to the attack speed increase. Orca Malevolence has a slight nerf due to the mana regen reduced and intelligence reduced, but at the same time they have reduced the cost of the entire orchid, so it might be worth it. Glimmercape has seen a slight buff, if you would. It's a little bit cheaper than it used to be due to the fact that Shadow Amulet is reduced, but it no longer gives 20 attack speed. But as a support going Glimmercape, you don't need the attack speed. Let's be honest, guys. Shadowblade now uses Blitz Knuckle as a component, and thus gives you more attack speed, but reduces your damage by 2. So Shadowblade really untouched, really. Silver Edge, very good item right now. They have added Echo Saber's passive ability to Silver's Edge and added 40 damage, 45 attack speed, 12 strength, 10 int, and 1.5 mana regen. Silver Edge is really good. Instead of you building Ultimate Orb, you can now build an Echo Saber in lane. It gives you good sustain, good damage, good stats, and then later on build into Silver's Edge, which is really good. Silver's Edge might see a big resurgence in this meta. They've reworked Bracer, Wraithband, Null Talisman. Bracer doesn't give magic resistance anymore, and the primary attributes of the given items have been reduced just by one per primary attribute. Wraithband obviously gives 6 agi, so they've minus that to 5 agi. Now Talisman 6 int to 5 int, so it's not that bad, but overall it now gives mana regen and spell amp for Null Talisman, 1.5 armor to and attack speed per Wraithband, and 3 damage and 0.75 HP regen per Bracer. So I do think Wraithbands and Null Talismans are still really good. Bracer, it's not bad. HP regen might be worth it, but two braces and you only get 1.5 HP regen, so braces are quite bad at the moment. But we'll see how it goes. These small items have all been cost items have been reduced, but their healing and their effectiveness has all been reduced. Ring of Regen no longer provides 1.75 HP regen, but I still think it's good due to the fact that it's only 0.25 and it's been reduced by 50 gold, so that's kind of nice. The upgrade items, their prices have been reduced, but their attributes stay the same. So I think these items are going to be a lot more attainable and might be more useful in lane. Triangle boots, broken and unbroken speeds have been changed, so that means if you're healing or you've already broken your triangle boots, you're just a little bit slower, which isn't the biggest thing. Kaya, Yashikaya, Kaya and Sanj, Bloodstone, Octarine, Bloodstone, they have seen a major buff. You don't get the the mana loss reduction anymore, but instead you get an increased spell amp, you get spell lifesteal amp, and that is just huge. Plus mana regen amp, right? You lose 12% mana loss, but you get mana regen, increased spell amp, and you get spell lifesteal amp. So it's really huge right now. These items are very strong right now. In the previous meta, no one was really buying the items because they were kind of useless, but if you look at it now, 16 agi, 16 int, 16 attack speed, mana regen amp, movement speed, percentage, spell amp, and spell lifesteal amp. Such a good item right now, I think. I really think this is good on spellcasters now, but I could be wrong. We'll see. They've added a morbid mask for spellcasters, which is called Voodoo Mask, and I'm curious to see how people use this in lane and what spellcasters and exactly what this builds into right now, because for right now it's only Octarine core that builds with Voodoo Mask, but we'll see. Veil of Discord has seen a pretty substantial nerf, as it has lessened spell amp, the cooldown's been increased, and the attributes have been reduced by 5, but to make up for it they reduced the gold. Not sure if Veil is really good anymore. I don't think so, but it could still be. Holy Locket has an added active, which now is a targetable stick, so you can heal someone with Holy Locket, and it might come into play on some heroes, maybe Io, Chen type thing, but we'll see. They've nerfed Soul Ring into the ground. Doesn't give you HP regen anymore, it just gives you strength and armor. So the HP regen was really a big thing when it comes to buying Soul Ring. It allows you to sustain in lane just a little bit better, but for the better part it's still not too bad with the 6 strength and 2 armor. Hyperstone and all the components have seen a slight buff in attack speed. Battle Fury a slight nerf in damage and mana regen, but still a good item. Still think it's still very good to buy this meta. Chrysalis has seen a slight buff, as the damage has been reduced by 2, which isn't too substantial, but the recipe has been reduced by 200 gold. So pretty cost efficient item right now. Cloak has been reduced, so supports are smiling for that one. Satanic has a recipe now, So Satanic is a lot more expensive, but still very worth it. Meteor Hammer, now this is an interesting one, has increased its stats, which is now 8 stats, 6.5 health regen and 2.5 mana regen, and the build to get a nice perseverance crown and a recipe. The stun has been reduced, but the cooldown has also been reduced, so I think Meteor Hammer might see a resurgence. It's quite a nice item now due to the stats and the regen and mana regen it gives, and the slight 2.5 stun isn't that big. Spirit Vessel doesn't give you a heal reduction aura, but we'll get back to that in a second. But basically Spirit Vessel has increased regen, increased DPS, and increased HP reduction from 35 to 45%. So Spirit Vessel is almost a must on any roaming hero or any support if you can. Shiva's Guard now has the heal reduction that Spirit Vessel loses. So Shiva's Guard on those int heroes, if you're playing against a Morphling or something and you don't know where to go, Shiva's Guard is good against the heal reduction. Heart of Tarask, slight nerf to the doesn't give you 10 plus heal regen or spell amp, heal amp, but also increases the health regen out of combat and it gives you 1% health regen, which is kind of nice. Strength has been reduced and the cost has been slightly increased, but still a nice late game item for some tankiness. Skadi has seen a big buff where the slow is increased melee and ranged, and the heal reduction is increased from 35 to 40%. It's almost half heal, guys. If it under the effects of Eye of Skadi, it's almost half the heal that you do. So Eye of Skadi is really good right now. Quilling Blade has a slight increase on ranged damage and a slight nerf on melee bonus damage, and a nice little 20 gold that you don't have to, that you can keep in the bank in the early game. So that's kind of nice. Hand of Midas has been increased to 200% XP, so you might see Hand of Midas a bit more. Do I still think it's worth 2,300 gold? Maybe not, but kind of big buff for Man of Midas. Slight nerf on Heaven's Halberd and Dragon Lords. Nice little buff, plus 2 agility. That is kind of nice. Nullifier's projectile speed has been increased by 250. Probably because Nullifier hasn't been used that much this patch, but I think they're trying to work its way back in. Support items, Circuit for Seed, Century Ward, and Tome of Knowledge have been, their gold has been reduced, so it makes support lives a lot easier. They have also implemented a new way of making drops, neutral drops, a bit more fair, so that you don't get only consumables. So what I mean by that is if you get a royal jelly, you cannot pick up a mango tree anymore. So because they're both consumables, you can only get one consumable neutral of the same tier. So both of these are tier 1s, royal jelly and mango tree. That means that you can only get one of those consumable tier 1 items. So it's very nice. Iron Titan small nerf to 40% of the creep, but that's perfectly fine. That is 100% fine. That's still a good item. Broom Handle, 15% melee attack range increase, which is really nice. Small nerf on Fairy Birch, move speed and armor on the Arcane Ring. Nighttime vision bonus on Vampire Fangs. Not that crazy. Same goes great with Fairy Fire and Repair Kit. Repair Kit has also seen a nerf as to it has a 60-second cooldown, and so it makes pushing into a team with Repair Kit a bit easier and a bit easier to time out. So that's kind of nice. I'm glad that they added that. But you can either get a Greater Fairy Fire or Repair Kit, not both, due to them being both consumables. Orbital Destruction has seen an increase as the slow has been increased at the cost of only 4 armor and not -5, so it might be a little good. Titan Sliver has seen base damage increase to 20%, which is very nice, at the cost of status resistance being reduced, which is still okay. Paladin Sword kind of stays the same, just the fact that the greater healing amp has been reduced to 14%, which is quite significant. But it's still a good neutral item to use. Princess Knife has been increased, so you can hex enemies a bit more, which is very nice. And last but not least, we just have to put it in there, guys. Pirate Hat now gives 100% success rate on bounties when you use them, and late game, that's pretty significant, guys. But what's next is the hero changes, guys. I'm very excited to see the hero changes. But with that being said, that brings us to the end of the video, guys. If you liked it, drop a like, drop a sub, and if you guys really enjoyed it, please let me know. And if there's anything you'd like to see in the future, or you'd like me to change or try it in the future, put it in the comments below. And I remember, if you guys want to catch me live on stream, I stream on Twitch Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I do surprise streams sometimes on Saturdays and Fridays, and we do a bit of hype training, guys. Don't forget to tune me there. The links will be down there below. Much love to you guys, and I hope you guys have an awesome time. And that's it. Millie out.